What's really happened is we saw the Ladki Bahin Yojana that practically won the election for the NDA in Maharashtra come in with much fanfare. But what's happened down the line is a bit of pruning, snipping away of that particular scheme. Over 8 lakh women now in the state of Maharashtra would not get that 1,500 rupees of the Ladki Bahin Yojana, but just 500. Why so? Take a look. Ladki Bahin Yojana now conditional. The scheme that won Maharashtra for the NDA becomes a political flashpoint. For over 8 lakh women, the 1,500 rupees direct cash transfer is set to be now reduced to 500 rupees. As per the latest correction, women availing any other direct cash transfer scheme in the state of Maharashtra will now get only 500 rupees and not 1,500 rupees as earlier. For example, women farmers on the benefit roll of the Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme will receive only 500 monthly from here on. The Kisan Samman Nidhi, jointly funded by the central and state government, provides 12,000 annually. In contrast, the Ladki Bahin Yojana offers 18,000 rupees per year. Consequently, women benefiting from the Kisan Samman Nidhi will now receive only the difference of 6,000 annually, equivalent to 500 per month. According to the new terms of condition for the Ladki Bahin Yojana, women availing benefits from other government schemes are not eligible for the full amount. With this reduction, the opposition has sensed blood, alleging that the Ladki Bahin Yojana was introduced as a vote bank strategy during elections.
ज्या लाडका बहिणींकडून 1500 रुपयांच्या बदल्यात मतं विकत घेतली, तो त्या मतांची किंमत आता 500 वरती आलेली आहे. उद्या ती 0 वरती येईल.
ये लाडली बहना से धोखाधड़ी करने का काम ये सरकार का है और कर रहे हैं. बहुमत में सरकार आई और सरकार विधानसभा में और जब पब्लिक में जाती थी लोगों ने हमको बहुमत दिया. ये सब लाडली बहना से मिला, लेकिन उसी लाडली बहना से धोखाधड़ी करने का काम इन्होंने किया.
In response, Maharashtra government is in an overdrive to damage control.
महिलाएं जब उन्हें पता चल रहा है कि ये जो योजना है 2.5 लाख से ईयरली इनकम कम होने वाले महिलाओं के लिए है, तो जो महिलाएं आर्थिक दृष्टया संपन्न है वो भी खुद होकर अपनी इस योजना का लाभ छोड़ रही है.
With the political slugfest peaking, the underlying message is clear to even opposition-run states. Call it welfareism, populism, freebies, ravery, or handouts. Direct cash transfers are a double-edged sword. The bloodletting continues way beyond the polling booth. Top focus on To The Point this evening. All right, so what we're seeing in Maharashtra, is it only limited to Maharashtra? Not quite, because the Congress is going all out suggesting that, listen, they never really had the money, there was no intention, it was a jumla during elections. But their own chief minister in Telangana has put his hands up, says he doesn't have the money to pay for the welfare schemes that the Congress announced to win Telangana elections. Listen in to Revant Reddy.
How are you going to pay for the guarantees 4,000 rupees to unemployed youth?
सही सवाल पूछा है राजदीप जी. आप जो गलतफहमी में था, मैं भी वही गलतफहमी. 3.75 लाख करोड़ डेब्ट से ये जो इनकम है इसके हिसाब से हम कुछ कर सकता है, मगर कुर्सी में बैठने के बाद असली रूप हमें पता लग गया.
Come on, yes. Chief Minister is telling us that you realized only after you became Chief Minister that you can't pay for your guarantees.
Not guarantees. Repayment of loans. I am not saying that I am not going to pay for guarantees. I am not able to repay for my guarantee.
But you admit, Mr. Reddy, fiscally it's not prudent. This guarantee business, रेवड़ी, guarantee, whatever you might call it.
सब लोग चर्चा करने का एक इंडिविजुअल से कुछ होने वाला नहीं है, क्योंकि इसीलिए मैं जो ओपन फैक्ट है मैं छुपा के झूठ बोलना नहीं चाह रहा हूँ. इसीलिए मैं हैसो बात सबके सामने रख रहा हूँ, क्योंकि ये चर्चा होने का बहुत ज़रूरी है. सब लोग हम कमरे में बैठे तो एक बात बोल रहे हैं, बाहर भाषण में गए तो दूसरे बात बोल रहे हैं.
So you think there should be a national debate on this so-called
Yes,
reveries?
definitely. Instead of one nation, one election, instead of delimitation, instead of other things, we have to discuss on this. We don't get any money to invest on capital expenditure. I'm sorry to say I'm not able to invest every month 500 crores. Not even 500 crores I'm not going to spend on my capital investment. तो आगे आगे आने वाले दिनों में राज क्या होने वाला है, देश क्या होने वाला है?
All right. So the Congress might point fingers at the Eknath Shinde or promises during Maharashtra elections, Devendra Fadnavis, the incumbent chief minister, for not delivering on his promises right now in Maharashtra. But the Congress is exactly in the same boat. So it cuts both ways, viewers. The questions that I asked this evening: revision of the Ladki Bahin Yojana, essential for cash-strapped Maharashtra? Clearly, there's a very simple answer to that. The scheme only a poll promise meant to attract women voters. And that cuts not just for the Ladki Bahin Yojana, but for schemes offered in other states of the opposition as well, which are direct cash transfers. Are direct cash transfer schemes sustainable beyond elections? The freebie culture pushing states into fiscal instability. Let's cut across to our guest, Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson BJP, Susi Ben Shah, Spokesperson Shiv Sena, Charan Singh Sapra, National Spokesperson Congress, Anish Gawande, Spokesperson NCP, Sharad Pawar faction. We're going to give all of you 2 minutes each to make your point. And Sanju Verma, let's begin with you, because what really happened, Sanju Verma, so much fanfare. 1,500 is going to be raised when we come to power to 2,100 rupees. 8 lakh women are now hoping to clutch on to 500 rupees, and there are more cuts because you did constitute a panel to revise, to prune the existing schemes for your own fiscal benefit.
Preeti, with no offense to none, let me make this very clear. The point is that many people in the media, they don't read, they don't write, they don't do their homework, and they start peddling false narratives. With no offense to you, you do your homework, and I'll tell you why. If you look at PM Kisan, one of the eligibility criteria is that if you're getting 6,000 rupees a year from PM Kisan as cash transfer, you as a beneficiary are not eligible to take cash benefits from any other welfare schemes of the Modi government. Now, what has been the eligibility criteria for Ladki Bahin Yojana? A, that the concerned woman should be between 18 to 65 years of age. B, her annual income should not exceed rupees 2.5 lakhs per annum. C, her husband should not be having a government job, because you have a spouse in the house who's earning 6 lakhs or 7 lakhs or 10 lakhs, and the woman is claiming, benefits under Ladki Bahin. That is absolutely not acceptable. The fourth and most important point is that the woman beneficiary should have a bank account, and more importantly, her bank account should be linked to Aadhaar. So let me reinforce very clearly the fact that if you're a beneficiary under Ladki Bahin Yojana, you cannot take cash benefits via cash transfers from any other Modi government's welfare schemes. Was always there. And this was also the case with PM Kisan. If you're taking benefits under PM Kisan, you cannot get benefits under Ladki Bahin Yojana. So that's the first point. The second point is this. We have allocated 36,000 crores for Ladki Bahin. The Forest Department has allocated another 10,000 crore, and the Social Justice Department has allocated another 10,000 crore. So the total outlay is 56,000 crores.
All right, your time is up, Sanju Verma, and I'm going to circle back to you because you are, you spoke of, not doing enough research, but I did understand you didn't mean it for me, but because I have done some research. So let me, I'll also come back, to you on that point, because you say that fine print was always there. It wasn't there, Sanju Verma. It was the new member panel committee, which was constituted. Ma'am, I will come back. Ma'am, allow me. Ma'am, allow me. Then there was a... Ma'am, allow me to make my point. You can't shout me down. Ma'am, you cannot shout me down. Ma'am, you can't shout me down. Allow me to make my point. I will come back to you. Allow me to make my point, and you can challenge me. Trying to shout me down is going to benefit no one. All I am just saying is those 8 lakh women,
Then if the fine print was always there, then there was an oversight, because 8 lakh women who were earlier on getting 1,500 rupees, hoping to get 2,100 rupees, are now going to get 500 rupees. So they should have got 500 rupees right from the word go. They didn't. They were getting 1,500 rupees. So that has been pruned, whether you want to contest it or you don't. Thank you for your patience. I'll circle back to you, ma'am. I will circle back to you. Allow me to circle. Ma'am, I'm not making any reckless allegations. Yes. All I'm saying is these women who were getting...
You have never read the fine print of
ma'am, then okay, then possibly...
Go back and read the fine print.
Ma'am, possibly if there was that, if you insist there was always that fine print, if you insist there was always that fine print, then maybe possibly the administration did not read the fine print themselves, because women who were getting 1,500, 8 lakh women are now going to get 500. Now I'll circle back to you. Ma'am, I will circle back to you. Allow me to expand the debate. It's not an argument between a Sanju Verma and a Preeti Choudhry. Your fader's going to go down, and I'll circle back to you. You'll get your time to contradict me and say whatever you wish to. I want to go to Charan Singh Sapra, because Charan Singh Sapra, you can turn around and say, see, we told you so, this was all an electoral jumla. Then one can quickly turn around and say, didn't you, maybe pick up the phone and speak to the Chief Minister of Telangana? Because Revant Reddy very clearly has said he has no money. You made promises which you can't deliver yourself.
See, Preeti, there is a difference between Revant Reddy and the situation in Maharashtra of Mahayuti government. Revant Reddy has committed that there is going to be a serious situation. He has not started, deleting the names of some women under the guise of some criteria. See, basically pre-election and post-elections in Maharashtra, they have, exposed the malified intentions of the Mahayuti government. It is also the betrayal of public trust. It can also be said that it is exposing the opportunistic or the deceptive nature of the Mahayuti government. Pre-election, all the Mahayuti leaders, including Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, Nadda, Ajit Pawar, Devendra Fadnavis, Eknath Shinde, everybody, nobody spoke about the fine print which we are talking today. Everybody, in fact, when the reporters or the people also asked them, they said that anybody who's getting benefit under any other scheme will also get benefit of this scheme. This is what Eknath Shinde has said on various stages, various platforms. And today, they are going back on it. This is purely a hollow political gimmick. This is an election fraud under the guise of which BJP has taken the votes of poor women, and post-election, under the guise of, some criteria, they want to withdraw their names. They want to reduce the scheme. This is a blatant, I would like to say, breach of commitment. Breach of commitment by Bharatiya Janata Party. The ladies of Maharashtra are not going to spare them. And I'm wondering, there are 2 ladies on the panel. They are trying to defend the government. In fact, they should stand with the females who are deprived, the 8 lakh females. And these are not only 8 lakhs, there are even more. 8 lakhs have come to you under your record. There are more females whose names have been deleted. Maharashtra females are not going to bear with this.
All right, okay. Charan Singh Sapra, you say Revant Reddy is different, but not quite different. There are delays in delivering on your welfare promises, not just in the state of Telangana. I'd also remind you that there is a possibility that the Himachal House is going to undergo an auction, sir, because Himachal Pradesh doesn't have the money to pay for its own welfare promises. You might call it welfare. Ultimately, everyone knows it's populism, whichever side of the divide you stand on. So not much difference.
Sir, allow me to, I'll circle back to the names of females. Yeah.
Okay, potato, anything that you might seem to suggest, but it comes down to the same thing. But I want to bring in Susi Ben Shah. Susi Ben Shah, the fact is, with what Charan Singh Sapra says, there's one truth in that. Eknath Shinde, the then Chief Minister, and I, attended 2 rallies myself. My Maharashtrian is not, very, very good. But at least with what I gathered from that, he said very clearly that I will increase it to 2,100. Sabko milega. I'm your brother and you are my sister. You will get that money. 1,500 now. And why I give the figure of 8 lakhs is why I give that figure is because we've done an internal research and we gathered the number, which some might suggest might be more, but we know there is at least 8 lakh women who will be getting 500. Why are we not being able to admit that, yes, you constituted a panel for fiscal prudence, you decided you needed to make some amends and corrections, and you have done so?
Very good evening to all and warm regards to all my fellow panelists. And Preeti, it's always a pleasure to be on your show. Now, I'll tell you this. Let us understand very clearly that not a single word of the Ladki Bahin GR has changed. It remains, the GR remains as it is. Nothing is malified, Sapra Saab. Everything is bona fide. What this current government or the current opposition party, whatever it remains of, is harping on half-truths and misinformation. In the GR, it was always stated, Preeti. I'm glad that you mentioned that your Maharashtra is not so good. Our CM sir and now our DCM sir continues to be the most popular Maratha chief minister. He still is the Ladka Bhav of all the dear sister, a dear brother to all dear sisters. Why? Because we have delivered and we continue to deliver. 57,000 crores is a budgeted allocation. It is not a hearsay. There is a concrete proof that this government is going to deliver. What we were the other thing that I want to say is that it is not a promise. It is not just a mere promise. It is a commitment. Till now, after the new Mahayuti government has come, the regular stipend has been going to these women. It is not Revdi. Please stand corrected, all of you. It is a dignity given to the woman. It is a Sanman Nidhi. It is a kind of a give back to them for the work that they do, giving them dignity in the family, in the society, and in the larger context, the family at large. So therefore, understand this Maharashtra government, under the dynamic leadership of Eknath Raoji Shinde, our Honorable Chief Minister, they call him Deva Bhav now, and also Ajit Dada. We stand committed to Ladki Bahin. We stand committed to women's empowerment, and there is nothing that can ever change that. This debate is based on misinformation and rumors.
Okay, ma'am, I'm going to come right back to you on this, but it's interesting because I don't think your own ally spokesperson will concur where you say Eknath Shinde was the most popular chief minister of Maharashtra, but that's another debate. That's another debate, ma'am. That's another debate. I don't want to get into it. It was just a side note. But it was just a side.
There is a difference. I said Maratha chief minister.
Maratha chief minister. Oh, the fine print in that also, madam. The fine print in that as well.
Okay. Learn to understand the fine print.
Like I'm saying, the fine print in that as well. Okay, no, I'll come back. I'll circle back to you. So Susi Ben Shah, and I will circle back to you on this, and I will ask you that question. Why is it that the fine print wasn't read when about 8 lakh women were being handed over 1,500 rupees with the promise of 2,100 rupees, and now they're going to be pruned to 500? Because clearly there was an oversight there. So if the fine print was there, then there was an oversight. And I'll come back to you on that. I want to bring in the NCB Sharad Pawar faction, Anish Gawande, in this as well. Anish Gawande, why is it so difficult to admit that you can't deliver on these? You know, she says that, you know, Susi Ben Shah said, because it's a political statement to make, don't call it Revdi because it's welfareism. You know, somewhere down the line, that line gets blurred very quickly and it cuts across party lines.
Preeti, thank you so much for having me on the show, and I'm glad to be here. I want to start off by saying that it's very clear today that the Maharashtra government is a PR stunt. First, they used to rename things. Now they engage in accounting jugglery to justify all of these things. As you rightly pointed out, if these women were given 1,500 rupees to begin with, then why were they given those 1,500 rupees? Does the scrutiny for a scheme begin after money has been handed out? Then does this not mean that the government is admitting that one of the largest scams has taken place in Maharashtra today, where thousands of women who are not eligible for this scheme have availed these benefits at the cost of the exchequer? So what is being admitted on television today? And what is the level that we've dropped to? The BJP's manifesto at one point used to be a holy grail that the party followed. Karke dikhayenge was their motto for their manifesto. Today, not only are they going away from their manifesto promise of 2,100 rupees, but they're bringing it down to 1,500 and bring it down even further to 500 for certain women. Scrutiny happens before a scheme is disbursed, not after. This is not governance. This is a circus. Now, more importantly, you ask the question as to why these schemes are necessary. Preeti, today the situation is such that economic inequality has reached levels worse than the British Raj. This government is an utter and complete failure on the financial front. Household debt is 41% of the GDP. 45% of those loans are subprime. Today, savings have hit a 50-year low. Indian middle class and lower middle class households are borrowing money to meet consumption expenses. The reason these schemes are popular is not because somebody wants to go around like Santa Claus handing over money to people before elections, but because people need this money. And instead of debating the Waqf and instead of debating one nation, one election, like Revanth Reddy said, this government needs to acknowledge that there's a crisis and sit together to work on it. This government is only interested in distractions. They don't want to discuss the economy because they're failing on the economy, and it's going to benefit only them for a short time. Because
your time is up, Anish Gavani. You know what Revanth Reddy said very clearly was that we don't have the money, and we all need to come together and say that we don't have the money to actually fund these schemes. That's what he said. He didn't say that we need to have them and then, we need to find the money for them or any of that. Just cannot. Fiscally, it's just not prudent in this country to float cash, direct cash transfers. But Sanju Verma, I want to come back to you and I want to circle back to you. You can address the questions. You can, take me on if you wish to, or you can also answer the question that I ask you, which is, along with Maharashtra, there was another state that announced a cash transfer, and that was the state of Jharkhand. That 1,000 rupees is being delivered as it is, Sanju Verma, while there's quite a bit of news coming in on the Ladki Bahin Yojana.
Preeti, first and foremost, let me make one thing very clear. The fine print always said there cannot be duplication in terms of cash transfers to beneficiaries, point number one. Point number two, if 8 lakh women are being only going to, be given 500 rupees henceforth and not 1,500 rupees, 8 lakh women ke upar itni charcha ho rahi hai, but 2.5 crore women who have got benefits, उनके बारे में चर्चा नहीं हो रही. मान लीजिए ओवरसाइट था, 8 lakh women out of 2.5 crore means only 3.2%. 3.2% women are being culled out. That is not oversight. That is when a scheme evolves, the scrutiny levels get tighter. Government schemes always coming for constant evaluation. And that is exactly what has happened. If Preeti Choudhry does not want to focus on 2.5 crore women beneficiaries, but if Preeti Choudhry wants to focus on 8 lakh women who are not going to get benefits of Maji Ladki Bahin Yojana, all I will say, Preeti Choudhry needs to get a sense of proportion. But Preeti is a dear friend. I will not focus on what the NCP spokesperson said, Preeti. Economy is going down the drain. No. International Monetary Fund has lauded Prime Minister Modi and said, we will be overtaking Japan in a few months, not in a few years, to become the world's 4th largest economy at more than $4.4 trillion. And let me tell the NCP spokesperson, आपके शरद पवार की धज्जियां उड़ गई. 2023 Sharad Pawar's NCP faction lost its national party status. And let me tell the NCP spokesperson, 250 million, as in 25 crore people, have been lifted out of poverty by Prime Minister Modi. ये संजू वर्मा नहीं बोलती, ये World Bank ने बोला है. India today has the world's 4th largest forex reserves, the world's 8th largest gold reserves, and do you know something, Preeti? Our per capita household wealth is $20,000.
Okay. Ma'am, your time is up. Your time is up. As much as I think it smacks of narcissism to speak of yourself in the third person, but Preeti Choudhry is very happy that you admit 8 lakh women are not getting that 1,500 rupees anymore. I am very glad you admit that.
What you're saying is true, Preeti. Don't miss.
Ma'am, abhi to admit kiya now. You can't give a backhanded compliment, even if it is backhanded, and then take it away.
Okay. I said assuming.
Okay, assuming. Okay, assuming it is right. At least Preeti Choudhry is very glad you admit that.
Can you please upload the government for 2.5?
Ma'am, we will. Okay. I want to. Ma'am, it is already uploaded. The number of shows we did on that. How can you forget? You were a part of 50% of them. Charan Singh Sapra. I want to bring in Charan Singh Sapra. Please, ma'am. Ma'am, fader is out. Charan Singh Sapra, I want to bring you back into this conversation because, there seems to be us against them. But, you're all in the same boat. And I gave you 2 examples. Himachal Pradesh, Telangana.
See, Preeti, again, I am saying that Himachal Pradesh and Telangana, there are not such cases in which the women have been withdrawn from the beneficiary scheme. It's not that way. Yes, the Chief Minister has raised apprehension that there is a difficulty to raise the funds for it. That is true, and that is there with everybody. I am happy that the BJP spokesperson on the show is talking about constant evaluation and the fine print again and again they are repeating. But the same thing I would like to say again, that the then Chief Minister, Mr. Eknath Shinde or Fadnavis Ajit Pawar, they have never spoken about the fine print, or the fine print is going to come afterwards. They have not spoken about all this. So now they are talking about governance. But Preeti, this is not about mere governance. This is misuse of power, signaling that political gains are more important for the BJP than the welfare of the women. I remember pre-election how the leaders used to say as if this is a very big reform and to empower the women of the, but actually they have cheated the women of Maharashtra. I would like to put it that way. And let me tell you, not only this scheme, there are various other schemes. The Ladki Bahin scheme, the Ladka Bhau she was talking about, or she was talking about Deva Bhau. Where is the Ladka Bhau scheme, which Eknath Shinde got it, and in which the youngster was supposed to get money? That scheme is nearly closed. There are many such schemes under the Maharashtra government which were announced during the election. They were just political jumlas, election jumlas. And in the days to come, BJP and all the other Mahayuti leaders are going to say ki ye to ek jumla tha, like Amit Shah said few years ago, for 15 lakh rupees in the each account. So BJP and the Mahayuti government, they are the liars. They are being exposed, and they are being exposed on their own. I'm asking, where is the Ladka Bhau scheme? Nobody's talking about the Ladka Bhau because the Ladki Bahin scheme is already in jeopardy.
Okay, sir, your time is up. Sushi Ben Shah, your time begins now. You know, the question I ask you is, maybe one should promise as much as one can deliver. I asked that question to Sanju Verma. She didn't address it. But along with Maharashtra, there was another state that promised a direct cash transfer, and that was Jharkhand. And it seems that Hemant Soren is delivering that 1,000 rupees. He understood 1,000 was a safe option to offer, and he's delivering on it.
Preeti, we are also delivering. 8 lakh women have not been removed. Only the differential amount. Has been reduced. So they are not out of the Ladki Bahin scheme. They will continue to benefit under the Ladki Bahin scheme. There is a budget allocation that there is going to be shortly increased to 2,100. And don't you worry, none of them are removed. And let me also tell you this in the GR. I mean, I'm rather surprised that our very good old Sapraji has been in governance, in politics for such a long time. It is, whether it be NDA, whether it be Aghadi, whether it be UPA, whether it be Mahayuti, it is always that in a particular scheme, if you are getting benefits, you are not eligible under any other scheme. Like in this particular GR, not a word has changed. If you are eligible under Shravan Bal Yojana, if you are eligible under Sanjay Gandhi Niradhar Yojana, you cannot claim any other benefit. It is well known. I'm surprised that these people, whether it be my NCP spokesperson, I mean, he's giving out statements without having any proof whatsoever, be as it may. Not a single
leaders have given.
No, sir, don't interrupt. Sapraji, it was your Vilas Rao Deshmukh ji. He who said that I cannot deliver my promises because it was a misprint in the manifesto. Yaad dila दूं, आप किसान को, now Preeti, this is a very important point that Sapraji should be put to test to. That when Vilas Rao ji Deshmukh came as a chief minister, it was a promise by the earlier Sushil Kumar Shinde ji government that the farmers will not be able, they would not have to pay the debt. It was removed. But when Vilas Rao Deshmukh ji came to power, no farmers were given that benefit. He said it was a misprint in the manifesto.
Okay. Ma'am, your time's up. Ma'am, your time's up. I want to go to the NCP spokesperson, give him 2 minutes, but I'm glad that at least you also admit that there is, whether, you know, they might not have been removed, but it has been scaled down. But
please don't count me.
Ma'am, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Sushi Ben Shah. Okay. I'm running out of time. 2 minutes.
I'm glad you also.
Ma'am, you also said that probability, if it is true. Okay, ma'am. I concede.
Is true.
Okay, you're saying if it is true. If it is true. Okay, I want to give 2 minutes to the NCP spokesperson to put his point forward because we are running out of time. Go ahead, sir. I don't want to come in with a comeback. Go ahead.
Preeti, to put it very simply, ये सिर्फ जुमला नहीं, गरीब महिलाओं पर कमल का हमला है. The reality is that the audacity of a government to claim that they can mislead the people of this country before an election and conduct a scrutiny after an election is shameful. There used to be a time when we said that manifesto promises should be binding contracts between political parties and citizens. I remember the time when we used to hold political parties accountable for their manifestos, and at least there used to be some semblance of an exposure of hypocrisy. Today, what we are witnessing is just a blatant denial of the promises that were made and no sense of shame at having made these promises. Women have tried to get this money and not gotten it. Women are now being told that this money is not going to be disbursed into their bank accounts. People have financially planned the following months based on this money, and you take it away like this. Is there no shame left? And worse, at a time when the economy is not doing well, at a time when we know that the global economic forces are against us, to pretend like the economy is hunky-dory is absolutely delusional. We know that our growth forecast has been cut to around 6%. We know that our sort of fiscal deficit targets are not being met. The last I recollect, the fiscal deficit to GDP ratio was 57.1%, far in excess of 40% that was put under the FRBM Act by none other than Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. The last I remember, we do have market volatility crises that are facing this country and a forex reserve outflow that is a cause for concern. To deny that this is even a concern, to say that everything is going well, is shameful. Are we just going to get to a point where we completely ignore that there's a crisis at hand and pretend like everything is okay?
All right. Well, you know, this would have been, because I'm running out of time, I'm going to cut you short, take that 10 seconds away from you. Apologies there. But, you know, the fact is this would be pearls of wisdom, you know, for both the opposition leaders here. Because if, ma'am, please, this would be pearls of wisdom that if the opposition parties also practiced what they preach. I just want to also remind the Mahavikas Aghadi the promises they made. Because Mr. Gawande and Charan Singh Sapra, if you remember, you made promises that you would, this was 1,500, you promised over 2,000 rupees. How are you going to deliver it with the kind of debt that Maharashtra is in? We are going to leave it at that because, ma'am, I don't have the time. I need to close because then I'll have to give everyone. Please, I apologize. Okay, and Sanju Verma, if you're angry, you did not agree with me. If you want me to say that, I'll say it on national television. You did